What's your time, real quick?
17,
8,
18,
19,
19.
20. Good start to the stream. Alright, now we're live. As we got Gold Division Cycle 2 round of 16 match, and this time we've got Catman Champions taking on You Love to Party, which, as I just mentioned off the stream, is one of my favorite team names because they're awesome. But joining me today, what you got from Team Nullstone Gaming, as we are trying to complete, I think, our
Parasite.
circuit tour of Null. We've had Drents, we've had Beaverbanger, we've had now What You Got, so I think we're missing Swiftflame, Fuzzy Sloth. Anybody else? Rusher?
Yeah, some of those guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got to complete the set at some point. And also, as usual, Enthos is joining me because he just keeps coming back, man. It's really annoying. So it's the easiest way to get him off my back is to just be like, fine, you can cast. So, hello to both of you. Thanks for joining us. And we've got stuff going down real fast here already. As Riptide Silhouette with the first two bands, as then followed up by Ophelia and Cthulhuphant. So, Silhouette band, Riptide band, Ophelia band, Cthulhuphant band. Lots of familiar bands there.
Yeah, Parasite being the first pick, nothing unusual there. I'm kind of surprised to see Riptide banned though. I mean, he's a strong 1v1 mid hero, but he's very easily countered and not nearly as strong as he was a couple weeks ago.
No doubt. But we still see it. We have seen him banned fairly regularly. Not constantly, but it's happened at least enough to not be ridiculously surprising. But so far, Parasite, Magmus already, the first two picks to Legion side, Rhapsody, and Kraken for the Hellborn side. So what are you feeling about this draft, what you got?
They look like fairly standard picks. The Magmus and the Kraken are both flexible heroes. They can be lane pretty much in any lane. And then Legion first pick the Parasites, arguably the strongest jungler or pick overall left in the pool. And then Rhapsody is just a great support.
Yeah.
Pretty
and
good
first
picks.
pick, Rhapsody, always one that I'm a fan of. I fucking love that hero. And Magmus, I'm sure, Enthos, you're quite happy about that.
Yeah. Two of the strongest heroes in the game, in my opinion.
And really, plenty of stuff they can still do, I think, on this Legion side. They haven't really locked themselves into too much. Probably going to see the Magmus mid. Wouldn't be surprised if Torturer went with him, but also could see the Torturer bottom. And, I don't know. Plenty of options. But Swiftblade making it all the way to the third pick for the Hellborn side. And I really like Hellborn's draft at this point.
Yeah, strong physical presence, no doubt about it. Leaves a couple open picks for these last two slots.
And a bunch of heroes, too, that can be played in multiple lanes. Swiftblade, Kraken really have the potential to be played in all three lanes. We almost never see mid-Swiftblade, but there's no real reason you couldn't do that, right? Like,
I mean, you
it would
could,
work.
but it's not the most effective use of the hero.
Probably not.
Nah. Well, probably, I think they're going to end up running him with a tri-lane aggressive, because they have the Kraken, and that's, you usually want to solo lane your Kraken middle.
Yeah.
It's where he really shines. And then they have the Rhapsody for going aggressive. So that's what I think Hellborn's going to do just from the first three picks.
Wouldn't be
So
surprising
if
at all.
I was the Legion, I would want to get some good solo laners and then just try to dodge the tri-lane, seeing as how they have the Parasite.
Yeah. And definitely that's something that was brought up yesterday, is that first pick Parasite does sort of give away some of your strategy, because they've got, well, we're going to run a jungler, so we're going to have two solos in a dual lane, and we can definitely pick around that if you're the Hellborn side. And yeah, Swiftblade, tri-lane, very, very common, so wouldn't be surprised at all to see that. Second banning stage is underway at this point. Empath and Flux, the first two removals from the guys on Catman Champions, and Sir Bensington gets taken up by the Hellborn along with Bubbles. So yeah, just what you're talking about there. They're targeting those solo laners on the Hellborn side, and they're trying to prevent them from getting a strong solo lane that's going to go up against a tri-lane and do very well. So, not surprising there.
Yeah, smart bans on Bubbles and Empath. I mean, if Hellborn does decide to run a tri-lane, Empath would be a very strong pick, especially with Swiftblade. But Glacius is still on the table, so maybe they'll pick up Glacius.
Yeah, and really plenty of strong supports as well for that tri-lane. Glacius, Witchlair. Hey, you could pick a Luna, and I could kill you.
I don't think so.
It's interesting. I feel like as far as tri-lane heroes go, that's probably where Luna's suited best. Like, in a tri-lane.
Yeah, strong nuke potential, but the CC presence, especially with the Swiftblade, is kind of weak.
Eh, I feel like
1 second stun on level 1. I mean, it's
Yeah.
okay, but you could find a better hero, like Glacius.
Yes, I mean definitely Glacius is better. I just feel like usually Swiftblade needs that 1 second to get on somebody, and after that, he's usually okay chasing them down. He does have a relatively high base movement speed at 305. But anyway, last couple of bans are out here. Ravener and Malikan getting taken out by the Hellborn side. So Malikan ban, that's kind of interesting to me. Any reason why that would be?
Not that I know of, unless they know someone in the Legion likes the hero.
Yeah.
It's a good overall hero. It's a hero we honestly don't see very often, but I would call it a pretty flexible hero. It's got an escape mechanism and a good farming mechanic. So it's an overall good hero, but just a lot of teams don't pick it.
Yeah, looking at Gray's stats, Zafranthi, he has Malikan at 17%, so it's understandable. TDL is 17% as well and is all picked.
For Smithix, you mean? Or for...
said
Oh, no,
No, for Teal.
Teal. I thought you said Gray.
Oh, okay.
I was like...
Sorry. No, Teal. The Gray of the Legion team is
Yes.
what I meant. Of course. But, Blue banned Ravenor. I don't know why they would ban Ravenor when this Hellborn team already has a Swiftblade and Kraken. Like, there's zero chance of them picking up that hero at this point. So interesting ban, no doubt. I mean, they could be thinking that they're going to run a Suicide Swiftblade and a Kraken mid, but even then, I just think Ravenor would be a terrible pick for You Love to Party.
It wouldn't really fit their lineup very well. It'd be kind of like a poor initiator choice when there's better ones on the board.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Hero we almost never see anymore, and you were saying yesterday, I thought, about how you don't like this hero very much because you don't feel like
He doesn't bring much to the table at all. I mean, he survives in a lane, in a suicide lane, that's about it. And this Hellborn team already has plenty of physical presence. I think that bringing Grenix onto the table just isn't a great pick at all.
Yeah.
As an individual hero, he doesn't bring much, and with this lineup especially, he doesn't fit, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, his ultimate is fine, but you really need other heroes to lock people down so it actually does damage and people can't just run away from it. And the lockdown on the Hellborn side really isn't that great. The Staccato stun is good, and the Kraken ultimate is nice, but that's not consistent enough, and it's not going to be like, oh, we're going to be able to catch a whole bunch of heroes, they can't move, and therefore Grenix is going to do a bunch of damage. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to need a strong CC pick for the last pick to make this work.
And they're soft picking Solstice here, and I really hope they don't do that.
Me neither.
Yeah, that's gonna be a funky draft.
That seems like it's not going to end very well. But Legion side do last pick Puppet Master after that Madman, and I like that a fair bit actually. So I'm expecting to see a Magnus middle, a Madman Suicide, and a PM Torturer bot with Parasite in the jungle, which is a pretty strong dual lane, and they should be just fine. But Bloodhunter, jungle Bloodhunter, yeah, that's got to be what that is. So I don't.
Jungle Bloodhunter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not a good pick.
Okay.
This Hellborn draft is...
There's no
I don't want to
CC.
call it garbage, but it's pretty trashy if you ask me.
I would say it was just a couple greedy hero picks, mainly the last two. Like it looked really good with the first three, and then they just kind of didn't round it off very well. Picking the Grenix kind of shows that they're going to suicide that, because it doesn't really make sense to short lane or put a Grenix mid. His job is really going to be just to get levels. And so yeah, they should know that the Swiftblade is going to be short lane now, and they can choose whether they want to man up on it with the Parasite. Seeing as how Hellborn can't really stop that very well. We'll have to see what they do.
Yeah, this Legion draft is extremely strong. I mean, these are 5 heroes that you see in Diamond and Gold League teams quite a bit. Just really solid heroes in the meta right now. And this Hellborn team, Swiftblade, Kraken, Rhapsody, okay, but Bloodhunter and Grenix, not so much. And the way that this team's put together, I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, Legion team is definitely going to get a Soulsborne pretty quickly, and at that point, their mitigation is going to go up significantly against this Hellborn team.
Yeah, Bloodhunter currently 0-7 in Diamond League. Just saying. And that's like in lane where he's powerful, and not in the jungle where he's thoroughly mediocre. I look at this Hellborn side and I'm like, what's going to stop the Legion team from just running away? Especially on extremely mobile heroes like Magnus and Madman. There's no reliable stuns pretty much at all. Like, Rhapsody's the only one that's got a reliable stun.
Hey, Bloodhunter ulti will keep you from running away.
Just a
Yeah.
quick thing that I just picked up on. If you look at the items from Hellborn, it looks like Bloodhunter is going to solo lane
Yeah.
or short lane, and then it looks like Swiftblade's either jungling or like roaming. I want to say jungling. So he's got a shield and not boots. So
Yeah.
interesting.
God.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, nor did I. Remember that jungle Swiftblade we saw yesterday, Quincy?
Yeah, I do remember that.
How well did that work out?
That actually
Did it
ended
work
up
out well
winning,
or no?
so,
Oh wow. Okay, so it has potential.
no.
Not that well.
No.
His team.
No.
Okay.
It was pretty bad.
It might have been the worst high-level competitive game I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
But they
I'll
won
give that.
anyway
They did
with
win.
the jungle Swiftblade.
Okay, it was
Okay.
basically like which team can throw harder. And that was the case from about minute 1, because the Hellborn, they started out running an aggro tri-lane, and then they transitioned Swiftblade and who else was it? Torture.
Andromeda.
Maybe? Andromeda, yeah. And they left a suicide torture, and versus a puppet master, which is great. But they transitioned Swiftblade and Andromeda to the middle lane, where they just proceeded to sit there for about 3 minutes and do nothing and get no CS and have no experience. So
Yeah, no experience for 3 minutes straight.
yeah, and then they won.
Candor's excuse for that game was his team had just woken up and they were very tired.
Yeah, sure.
So solid excuses coming out from the Solar Club.
I encourage you to watch that if you haven't done so. Everything's on YouTube, but it's just funny.
Okay.
Like, it's just not just you,
You're
but
looking
it's
for a
the
laugh.
8 people that are watching this right now. It's funny.
Okay, so we got Parasite farming hard camps and Swiftblade farming small camps. We'll have to see how this works.
Yeah, I'm not
Now,
optimistic.
looking at this top lane, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but there's always a chance that Bloodhunter can silence the Madman as Swiftblade swoops in from the jungle, and he gets a spin off, and somehow they kill Madman. It's a very low
That's true.
chance, but they have a silence to disable his ability to stalk around.
And there's no vision from Madman to see it coming either.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'd be surprised if they were able to do that.
I like this ward placement at the top rune from Catman Champions. The Rev ward can't see it since it's behind that tree.
It's like Rhapsody countered it with Dance Floor though. It was a good ward though.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, Parasite farming here, and in the bottom lane we do have a solo puppet versus a suicide Grinix, and I'm a little surprised by that actually. I kind of expected to see the solo mid mag, because I don't know, I don't feel like Torture and Magnus is that strong of a lane combination.
I disagree with that. I think that the double stun's pretty effective, especially against that Rhapsody.
I would give the edge to Hellborn in the middle lane, just because impalement with creeps isn't
Yeah.
always super effective.
That's my big problem, and Agonizing Bonds isn't that strong a nuke, so it's basically... There's almost no real follow-up outside of the chain reactions and the lob surge. So, their kill
Right.
potential is realistically kind of low.
It's like Swiftblade was trying to gank the middle, but
Yeah, there was a ward here, and he
Nothing.
walked right by, so
yeah, they saw it coming.
pretty easy defense there. And anyway, speaking of this middle lane, Sentinelix currently at 260 gold per minute, and Magnus at 230 GPM, so not particularly surprising to me that Kraken is having the better time, of course, with that splash auto, and his general bulk being a little bit higher than Magnus. Not really concerned about dying here. Bottom lane, Puppet Master actually drawing a Puppet Show onto Grinix, and then taking some return damage. Is at 280 gold per minute, the second highest farm in the game. And Grinix currently at 120, so he's having a really good time here, and up in the top lane, he's actually no middle, sorry, dive. It looks like Rhapsody gonna be in some trouble, and Parasite will get the kill. So a nice gank there from an actual jungler, as opposed to the Swiftblade gank, which was very ineffective. But Naiu is out farming. No, he was. Now he's not. He was out farming this Puppet Master, but I don't really care. Like, you put a PM solo short lane and give him some semblance of free farm versus a Blood Hunter. I don't feel like the Hellborn are going to come out ahead in that equation.
Yeah, Puppet Master's just having his way with Brunex down here. This was pretty much going to be expected.
Yeah.
Legion saw that Hellborn picked up the Grenix and they knew that they were going to suicide it, and they responded with a Puppet Master 5th pick to dominate that lane.
So currently, Parasite at 250 gold per minute, and he's not farming too badly. Of course, getting that assist on the kill in middle. And you are a jungle player, what you got? So
Yes, I am.
let's get some jungle insight here. I
Okay.
don't think that Ophelia is nearly as powerful as she used to be, especially
agree,
because
100%.
she can't farm anymore. Like, I don't
Right.
see oafs over 300 GPM before 10 minutes anymore, and we used to see that all the time. So
It's pretty hard unless you get the perfect spawns, which for me, I love Vulture Lords at around 2 minutes, and I try to farm triple stack medium camps. That's pretty much the way you want to power yourself to level 5 really quickly. But if you don't get the right spawns, like if you get Skellies and Minnows early on, and the side lanes or mid lane is a hard lane to gank, you're going to be pretty slowed
bot
down.
lane, Grenix are going to get jumped. There's the Puppet Master ultimate, and that's a pretty easy kill. So Majestics in the suicide lane falling right there. And yeah, so I mean, Parasite no doubt has really passed up Ophelia in terms of pick rate, win rate, that sort of thing. Top lane actually, Madman getting jumped, and he will die. So Blood Sense activated from Bloodhunter there. Doesn't really care about the invis. And so do you feel like Tempest is still as powerful as he was? Is he about even with Parasite? Because those two feel like they're the best junglers in the current meta.
Tempest is not quite as strong as he used to be, just because of the nerf and the experience to hard camps. But he's still, with an uncontested 5 camp jungle, he still can farm a level per minute, meaning he can be level 7 by the 7-minute mark fairly easily. So in that regard, he's not bad, but it's also where he's a little easier to man up on now, as in the previous jungle. It was a lot easier for him to have his way.
And chain reaction's not quite going to connect. Another counter charge there from Kraken, but Parasite's here, and they're going to turn this onto him. Looks like Kraken wanted to get the kill there. All of a sudden, Madman comes in with a barrel roll. Chain reactions connects, and Rhapsody also going to fall, so they get a double tap in the middle lane. And it's a really good rotation there from the Legion side with bringing in Madman, having gotten killed in the top lane. He comes middle, Parasite, same deal, and they turn that onto the big tanky mess in Kraken. So Legion side up 4-1 in hero kills at this point. Looking real good. And yeah, there you go. So I agree. I feel like Tempest is not quite as powerful as he used to be, but still one of the more powerful junglers, as he didn't get hit as badly by that jungle change. But Parasite really seems to have passed definitely Ophelia and probably Tempest up a little bit. So
Yep. It was mainly when they buffed the infest.
Yeah.
He's able to keep up with levels and ganking at the same time fairly effectively.
And the thing that surprises me most about him too is that he's so effective when he goes into the late game. Like, he's not really a bad hero after about 30 minutes, and you'd think that something like a Parasite with as much burst damage as he has would be hurt when people start to tank up, they start to pick up Mystic Vestments. And is that just because everybody's picking up Puzzle Box now instead of Codex, or infest changes, or what?
Well, the passive, the Draining Venom, allows him to, obviously it buffs the Leech and the Face Hug into the mid game, and then it also allows even his auto attacks. They do fair amounts of damage.
Rhapsody also might be in some trouble. Takes the barrel roll there and drives the staccatos, but the chain reactions are in, and Legion side taking a 6-1 lead here. So Grenix wants something, but Lava Surge comes in there as well, and Dust of Revelation goes out, so they might be able to catch him. Madman doesn't want to die the tower though. Onto the DD Grenix, and he will be just fine. So yeah, sorry, go ahead, finish that thought.
Yeah, so just the Draining Venom, it just allows him to output a fair amount of damage with not only his spells, but his passive. Right. I mean, his auto attack, sorry.
And no doubt, really, a way for him to still stay relevant and into the late game. Puppet Master on the bottom actually might be in some trouble there. Grenix will get the stun onto him, and Swiftblade coming in with Swift Slashes. That's going to be a pretty key kill. A nice Voodoo Puppet onto Swiftblade. That's going to stop the spin for now, and PM actually might be able to get out of this. Middle lane, meanwhile, we're missing the kill onto Magnus as the release of Kraken gets dropped, and PM finally will die. Middle lane, actually, Torture also falls. They're chasing this down. And in the bottom lane, Parasite trying to kill this Grinix. Is he going to be able to get enough there for the Leech? Looks like he will. Yeah, and then he gets the kill finally. So Legion side not looking too good in that exchange, losing 3 heroes and killing just the 1, including the loss of Puppet Master, who is now at 360 gold per minute compared to Nightiu at 425 GPM. So Bloodhunter having a really, really good start here.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's 2-1. Oh, sorry.
as we saw in, I think it was WAP Dash versus Sync, Bloodhunter had a phenomenal start. He was 10-0 very early into the game, farming 600 GPM. But towards the end of the game, he just started falling off. I mean, his lack of CC really hurts him in the late game, I think. I mean, he can't get a great start. That ultimate just destroys heroes left and right. But his failure to have any CC really hurts him towards the end of the game with a hero like Puppet Master that can just keep people in place while he does damage to them. So,
speaking of that, PM might be in some trouble here. He's going to take the Hemorrhage and the Silence. There's TP Sports coming in. Doesn't matter. Zephyrantola is definitely going to die here. And actually, Lava Surge doesn't connect on the Switchblade, but he's just going to pour it out, so he will be fine. Nice cleanup kill there on the Puppet Master. It's going to slow him down quite a bit. Now, only at 325 gold per minute. And after that really, really good start, he's really suffered in the last couple of minutes. So Legion side got to do something to protect him so that he can start to take off.
Yeah, the Hellborn team is...
Go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
Let's go to what
I
you
was
got
just going to
first.
say the Hellborn team's doing a good job of prioritizing killing the Puppet Master,
Right.
whereas the Legion team should try to prioritize killing the Bloodhunter a little bit more.
And Bloodhunter's rotation, no doubt, has been very good. As we've seen Puppet pretty much exclusively in this bottom lane, while Bloodhunter's been mid, he's been bot, and he's been top, of course. So a hero that does like to get active relatively early on. He gets the Hemorrhage up, and he wants to start grabbing kills. So we'll see what he does here. He's rotating once again, and got Hemorrhage back up in 5 seconds, so they're definitely looking for yet another kill. And I agree with you guys. I think the general consensus was that the Hellborn draft isn't very good, but for what it does, they're definitely playing this correctly, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, despite having a Swiftblade, which is a really hard carry hero, and a Bloodhunter's a short lane, which, you know, has some carry presence, no doubt about it, I think that their lack of CC is going to hurt them. I mean, unless Kraken can land some ridiculously good ultimates, they're going to have a hard time finding, like, proper positioning to put their auto attack damage into.
Krennic's going to pour it out there, but Parasite perhaps not going to be quite as lucky. Yeah, he actually will also get the pour it out. Release the Kraken, only hits on Magnus in the background. Still might be enough as the Swiftblade spin is going down. Rhapsody here looking for a stun, but he gets hold. And he's also going to fall on top of the Magnus. So it's a 1-for-1 right now in favor of the Hellborn side. And they're looking to chase down Torturer. Blood Sense is finally active, but the Voodoo Puppet on Bloodhunter actually pretty key right there and might save Torturer's life at this point. Bloodhunter does not have the Hemorrhage as he already used it on Puppet Master and didn't get too much out of it. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. And once again, the Hellborn side will take that. Not only with a good trade there, but killing the Magnus and delaying his portal key, it's going to be pretty big for this Legion side. He's a lot of their initiation, I feel like.
Definitely.
Yep. Yeah, they're going to need that PK as it's getting into the mid-game now.
He's currently sitting at 250 gold, as well as 230 GPM, so he's not going to have it anytime soon. And a 20-minute PK for this Legion side could be a really serious problem, because they're not going to be able to do too much to gank and to counter-initiate unless they have that Magnus.
Now, I think there might be a lack of communication on this Hellborn team because Swiftblade and Bloodhunter both have picked up Energizers.
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue. As Kraken will get the charge off despite the face hug, actually. It went through during the charge. And Kraken will be just fine. So, good attempt there from the Legion side. Does not quite pay off as Senelix has the reaction time to get away.
Looks like Bloodhunter is also opting for a Nullfire Blade, which I think is a pretty solid pickup on that hero, especially against this Legion team.
And Madman gonna jump Barrow, look for a kill onto Rhapsody, but he's not gonna find it. There goes the dust, and there's the counter initiation. They were setting up that kill onto him for a long time, and he went at exactly the wrong time. Meanwhile, middle lane actually, Magnus also gonna fall as the Blood Sense goes through, and Torture gonna be in a fair bit of trouble. Once again, Release the Kraken goes right onto him. Parasite looks for the counter kill onto Kraken, and he might not actually get it. Actually Bloodhunter tries to deny him with the dot. Not very successful. But now BH is in some trouble. There goes the Puppeteer's Hold. And the Leech. Gonna see the Voodoo Puppet in a second. That's there as well. Bloodhunter not too tanky at this point, and not particularly close to getting a kill, so there's a kill for actually Parasite, who now is 4-0-3, 370 gold per minute. So He's having a
Box
really,
picked
really
up.
good start here. Yep.
Yeah, not a hero you want to see snowball like this, especially with Carix. Carix is a great player. He plays for Twisted Fusion, and yeah, solid jungle player, solid parasite player. So it's Hellborn team's gonna have a really hard time against this guy.
Yeah, and at this level of farm, he's going to be very dangerous very quickly. For a Hellborn
Yeah.
side that
Puzzle
is,
box.
yeah, they're relatively squishy. I mean, outside of Kraken, not too much tank potential. Actually, middle lane, Grenix can get caught as well by the Puppet Ultimate, and that's a pretty easy kill, but a chargeback on a Parasite, and he should be okay if he can infest something. He keeps trying, and he finally will gets it. Yeah, I don't know, that was a really terrible Swift Slash use, unless he thought it was going to get extremely lucky bounces.
Yeah.
This game is full of action. Like, we
Yeah.
haven't had like a minute or two's pause in between a team fight.
I'll
Indeed.
take it.
Yeah.
Alright, so,
I
yeah, go for it.
Sorry. I was gonna say, I forget the stat exactly. I think I remember you saying something like if Parasite has 9 kills or more, he's, I think it was like undefeated or something. So he's on his road there. He's already 4-0-4.
Parasite's
Nice.
got a number of undefeated things. One of them the thing that's most interesting to me is over 300 GPM. He's like 13-0.
Oh wow,
kind
that's
of insane.
not even that high.
Right, like 300 GPM is a decent enough amount, but it's not ridiculous. And
Fairly attainable in most games.
Does Cthulhu have a similar stat?
like Cthulhu, I think we've only seen like 6 or 7 games, so
Okay.
no, his stuff is all
He's
over
always
the place.
banned.
Yeah.
Well, Parasite usually is too, but the few games that you do end up seeing him, he does very well.
Magnus getting initiated on, but Lava Sword just right away, and he should be fine. Yeah, Cthulhu actually hasn't been as effective as people might think, largely because people have done some really weird stuff with him, like running in mid, and I think the variety of roles hasn't helped him very much. He's been hurt. The top lane actually, yeah, Madman just gonna TP away because Bloodhunter can't do anything about that. And there you go. That's the big problem with Bloodhunter is the silence is annoying and the hemorrhage is dangerous, but just TP away. And you're
35 gold, and you're good.
fine. Yeah. It's the same problem with Arachna. If you're ever having issues with that hero, just buy teleport. She can't do anything.
Is Arachne even seeing competitive play anymore?
I think we've seen her like twice. Actually, unfortunately,
He's
they
in
jumped
game,
here,
he
but
picked her
won't
up.
get the stun. And even the turnaround of Majestic is very easy. But nice ultimate from Raptor, saves for crack damage, and they will finally kill that Torture. Looks like they're also going to clean up here onto Karix on that Parasite. Can't quite get that infest off. And Madman is in, but isn't able to find anything. There's a barrel roll into 2 actually, but the silence goes off. I'm not sure who silenced there. Magnus? Yeah. Anyway. So, nice fight there from the Hellborn side once again, and this game is still relatively even despite that. So, I'm kind of surprised, because it feels like the Hellborn have been taking good fights recently, and yet they're not winning. I guess
Yeah,
that's just because
they're
their laning
communicating
phase
better.
was
As a
bit of an
team,
issue.
they group up a little bit more. They have similar targets in mind. So I think that as far as their leader goes, they're doing a little bit more of a better job. And the golden experience difference at this point is nearly intangible. I mean, less than 1,000 for both of them. So this is a very close game, and I'm pretty surprised to see that because I think that Legion really had a stronger laning presence or laning phase than the Hellborn team did.
Yeah. But definitely
agree.
the mid game has been in favor of the Hellborn side, as it well should, considering their lineup. They definitely have a bunch of very strong heroes in the mid game, and the question is basically, is it going to be strong enough to get them to win before this gets to 40-45 minutes? Because, I mean, they have Swiftblade, which could compete with the Puppet Master, I guess, and he's farming actually fairly well at 350 GPM, so, yeah, maybe I'm not giving enough credit. You guys feel like the late game is... I feel like the late game, I want to say that it's in favor of the Legion side, but I'm looking at these
Yeah.
lineups and I feel... maybe not. I mean, they have Swiftblade, they've got Kraken, they've got Bloodhunter.
I would
Yeah.
say it's slightly for Hellborn, just because the Kraken ulti, if Puppet were to pick up a Shrunken Head, which he probably will later on, they can use that to lock him down.
The
I give it to
Hellborn
Legion
destroyed a
because
Legion
this
tower.
Grenix presence is going to be next to nothing. He's only at 117 GPM, level 9, 18 minutes into this game. And I think that they don't have enough CC or initiation tools. I mean, Kraken is a great initiator, don't get me wrong, but it's not guaranteed, you know? Like,
Right.
with Magnus, it's really hard to miss that stun. You can catch a number of people in it. With Kraken, you're charging one person. Even then, you don't hit it all the time. So, I think it's going to come down to initiation for both of these teams, and I give the initiation favor to the Legion team, and I give the CC presence to them as well, undoubtedly.
PM here at 370 gold per minute, going for the Assassin's route, so they're also looking to up their gank presence, and I'm a little bit on the fence about that pickup. Like, I get, you know, people love Assassin's route on PM, but I'm just not sure that this is the game for it, because by the time
Not
he
against
has that...
Bloodhunter.
Yeah.
Not a good pickup against Bloodhunter, in my opinion, ever.
I mean, yeah, Blood Assassin's
I
gonna go straight through it.
I think if he was gonna pick it up, he would have wanted it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe more around like the 15-minute mark around then.
That's my big issue with it, is just the timing. I mean, he had a good start in lane, but then he fell off a little bit, has since recovered, and I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough at this point to really create space. Plus, how many gank-oriented heroes do you need? Like, you've got Magnus, Madman, and Parasite. Do they really need Puppet Master running around trying to kill heroes, or should he just be farming the woods?
Right.
And they will dust out Renix here and kill him very, very quickly because he has 800 health. So, for some reason, Renix with a double damage rune is hanging out deep in the Legion Woods.
That Grenix pick just continues to confuse me. I mean, first off,
Yeah.
it's not a good pick, and they picked it against a Parasite who was picked first with Legion team, and you know he's going to get Puzzle Box.
Yeah.
So his presence is going to be very, very limited because he relies on invisibility as a hero, and when you're versing a Puzzle Box, it's just very difficult to stay invisible.
Yeah. And it's pretty easy for the Legion side to even buy dust or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
at this level of
Agreed.
play, you can't expect invisibility to consistently save you or consistently allow you to get initiations off. Like, people are going to buy Rev, they're going to buy dust, and they're going to be smart about how they use it. So,
Yeah. Why do you think 1500s pick Nighthound so much? Or
Right.
Scout.
and we've never, literally never, ever seen Nighthound in competitive play.
Thank God. Magnus picking up a portal key.
Yeah, so finally,
21 minutes. There we go.
it's up to 254 gold per minute, so really had a terrible time in that middle lane, and then things got even worse after that. Still not farming very well, but now he's got the portal key, and I don't think he needs much else. Now he can really start to be a factor in this game. As it looks like we might have initiation here on bottom lane, but Puppet Master going to run away. Rhapsody kind of hanging out. We'll be triple stacking these Ancients.
I just want to comment on Madman's items real quickly because I think he's one of the core heroes for Legion where he really needs to, he needs to be over where he is right now at 260 gold per minute. And the Energizer pickup is, like, in my opinion, it's okay. Like, the team can use it, but I think he would have benefited more greatly if he were to just have gone something like a Basher, because he's going up against, the Blood Hunter and the Swiftblade, and if he was able to just bash them, they'd have much easier time in team fights.
Right. That's entirely possible. We could be picking that up next, but apparently feeling like the Energizer was more valuable. Yeah, and Shrunken Head as well. I feel like that'd be...
Right, I just feel like there's more important items that he needs, and he's not farming well enough to where that item's going to carry him into the mid-game. He's going to need to output damage with the Puppet Master.
It's not an inexpensive item anymore either, so it costs you a fair bit of gold.
The Legion have destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Legion side, so they've finally taken on their tower. We took that bot tier 1 earlier, and we'll get some more map control with the mid tower. Parasite currently sitting at a level 1 puzzle box. And has the money to upgrade it to level 3, so kind of surprised he hasn't spent that, sitting on 2,700 gold here.
Yeah,
A little interesting.
that is kind of a little questionable, I would say.
Especially if they're going to be pushing
Blood
this
Hunter
middle
picked
lane.
up the Firebrand a while ago. I think Anthos, I think you said he was going to pick up a
The Legion
Nullfire.
have destroyed a Hellborn
Yeah.
Anyway, initiation here, middle lane, and Durox are going to go off on everything. Kraken the ultimate completely whiffing. They've already got Sentinel picked off, and Sin will die as well on that Madman, so one for one here. Swiftblade actually taking the Puppet ultimate. He's going to fall in the background, though. They will manage to get the kill onto laser killing on that Magnus, and Parasite, Torture, and Puppet Master still alive to the Legion side. Ends up being a 3 for 2 so far. They also do get the mid-tier 2 tower. And that... Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking that
Legion.
Bloodhunter would get a Nullfire Blade because, you know, they're versing Parasite, Puppet Master. You know, heroes that can put on those debuffs, but you want for Firebrand. I mean, definitely a solid pickup on Bloodhunter. Firebrand, you see quite a bit on that hero, but I think Nullfire Blade would have been pretty solid because they need CC presence, and it would dispel a lot of this Legion team's abilities.
I'm really
Instantly kill
wondering
the
what he's
Mauler
gonna
too.
do. He's
What
got
was that?
3,600. He's got 3,600 gold, and that makes me believe he wants to get a Shrunken right now, and instead of finishing either like a Geometer's Bane or the traditional like Frostburn route. So kind of,
Yeah.
I guess he kind of does need the Shrunken Head in this game, so.
Yeah, and that's
Guess
exactly what it'll be. So
Yeah, standard pickup. I would like to see, you know, an item with a little bit of CC, even if it's just a Frostburn. I think that would still be pretty good. I would rather see a Null Fire Blade, but, you know, a little bit too late for that at this point.
I'm on board with you with the Nullfire though, because that would instantly kill the puzzle box minion, right? Like the Mauler that gives vision for Grinix. So getting rid of
Right,
that.
he could use his Feast to kill one, and then the Nullfire to kill the second one.
Right.
And then Parasite would just, you know, have his spells.
Yeah, it's an item with a lot of utility, and I think the Mana Number would be pretty good too, you know, against Torture, Magnus, Puppet Master, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would make a lot of sense. I do like their Shrunken a little bit more, I think, just because of the amount of magic damage and
Yeah,
CC that's coming
definitely.
out from the Legion side. But I wouldn't hate seeing a Nullfire Blade as his next pickup. I kind of doubt it's going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know if you see very much. I think it's a very underrated item through
Yeah.
and through.
It's talked about consistently on various casts. Like, yeah, we should.
Talked about, but is it used?
Yeah, everybody says every single time you bring somebody in, they're like, "What do you think about Nullfire? It's a great item. It should be picked up more often," and nobody ever picks it.
If I'm ever against like a Bloodhunter and TMM, I buy it all the time. It works wonders.
Yeah,
Just
hurts
removing
the,
that silence.
Silence. Yeah.
And you actually can keep the bonus damage.
We saw that
Which is another
yesterday
perk to it.
in a game where Bloodhunter bought one for his own team. Actually, Dust Relation go off here, and Grinix could be in some trouble. Not sure if they want to initiate here. There goes the face hug onto him as well, but Hemorrhage and the Silence come out on Parasite. Bad move for Bloodhunter, as he's going to take the death. The entire Legion side, except for Magnus, were there, and that was absolutely not the right initiation to take. Going to be a tier 2 bottom as well. So the Legion side have really started pushing like crazy in the last couple of minutes.
Looks like all they needed was the portal key on Mag to
Yeah.
get the ganks going.
And now they do have that level 3 puzzle box, which is quite a strong pushing tool as well. Like, that thing crushes towers.
Yeah. Especially
yeah.
War Beast. My god. War Beast is just a... It's really hard to go against a War Beast with that item, but that's
The
neither
Legion
here nor
have
there.
destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Anyway, Lobster's there, actually not going to connect, but the Puppet Show onto Kraken. He's going to die because the Rhapsody Ultimate was not quite in range, so looks like Smithix there not really realizing how much distance he had to be able to try to save Kraken. Here comes Kraken on the buyback though, and they were going to counter kill onto Magnus right off the bat. Madman also going to fall. The rest of the Legion side will back off, and they should be okay. Teleport away from Torture, and Puppet Master are just going to run. You actually will TP in the end, and should be able to do that before the Grinix Sun goes off, yes. So,
The thing about this Hellborn team is I think that they're very on the fence about these team fights. So their sense of direction, like as far as leadership goes, must be a little bit skewed because some of them choose to go in and some of them stay back. I feel like, especially against this Legion draft, I mean, as a team, clearly you need to all be on the same page. But especially against a Puppet Master, Magnus Parasite, you are either in or you're out. You cannot half-ass it, because if you do, you will get crushed. There's just too much CC for this Legion team.
and Rhapsody going to get crushed here as she's trying to ward up so that they can take this Conqueror safely. And they still will be able to do that, but of course her losing her life for it, not the greatest thing in the world. And they know there's a ward there,
Conqueror
but
has been
Parasite didn't see that ward there. Thought he would have saw that.
I think he knows it's there, but he couldn't get the angle on it for some reason. I'm not sure why. So they might just use a rev to try to counter that. But I think that they do know it's there. He certainly acted like he knew it was there.
I just feel like he would have countered it though. Just
Yeah.
have the minions sit there and kill it. I don't know. My opinion.
I don't know if he couldn't maintain vision or something like that. Possible.
Parasite picked up a Bulwark, so he's gonna go like the Aura team item route, which I think is pretty good on the new Parasite, but with the new Infest, that is, because he can just sit in a creep and then give Aura to his team.
Especially against this Hellborn team, Bulwark's going to be super strong. Grinix, Swiftblade, Kraken, Bloodhunter.
it looks like Legion's finally going to start pushing this top lane. This top tier 1 tower has taken 13 damage. In the bottom lane, they've killed the tier 3. So, it's been a little bit ignored up here, but both sides are actually grouping up, and everybody's got their spells up, so we're setting up for a legitimate team fight here. And after the side of Swiftblade trying to do something with Torture will immediately counter this ward that he places, and it looks like the Legion side, having lost that vision, are going to back off. Hellborn putting up a pretty solid defense of that tower up top, and it will stay alive, so nice defense. Obviously will keep their jungle very protected as well.
Yeah, Legion did not want to take that team fight once that ward went down.
And PM gonna head back to the bottom lane, continue to buff his farm, nearly 500 gold per minute now. So he had a really great laning phase, then fell off, and has since once again recovered.
And he's going for a Savage, it looks like. He's picked up the Slayer.
Yeah. So Whispering Helm, Shrunken Head, Assassin's Shroud, and now Savage base.
Yeah, I think the Savage Mage is a good pickup, but I think I would have liked to see it instead of that Shroud. The Shroud hasn't really done that much good this game.
The
But
Hellborn
I agree
destroyed a
100%.
Legion tower.
I was
Yeah.
just going to say that.
Yeah.
If he had just not picked up the shot, it would have been way better.
Yeah, his damage output would be crazy. I mean, it already is. 250 auto attack damage is no joke, especially on a Puppet Master, but he'll end up getting it pretty shortly here.
And they did pick up the Eye too as well on the Hellborn side, so Blake carrying that around. So figuring between Madman and Puppet Master, might as well just get some reliable invisibility detection. And that's the risky run, is Puppet Master picking up the Shroud. Not only is that an ineffective item, it has been, it's even less effective now that the Eye is there, but he's also hurt Madman because he's encouraged the opposing team to pick up an Eye, and now all of a sudden Madman's stock is countered. So I don't know, I feel like that effect isn't considered enough. Like, the more invisibility we stack, the less each one matters.
It's like if you have a Revenant on your team, you don't want to pick up Valkyrie, because
Right.
then you're just like negating the two
The
heroes.
Hellborn
Right.
destroyed a Legion tower.
And middle lane actually is going to be pushed by 3 heroes in Legion side.
The Legion
One
had
back from the
destroyed a
Hellborn.
Hellborn
So they keep
tower.
poking into this base. The Kraken actually going to charge forward, but not enough time before the PM is able to get his Shrunken Head off, and then the Assassin's Shroud as well. They're really trying to chase him down, and I feel like he could maybe stand here and fight this a little bit, especially if his team shows up. Magnus is just hanging out. Will push book himself away, and Lava Surge is on out. Grinnick's going to be in a lot of trouble. Takes the PM ultimate. That's going to be not a kill thanks to the Rhapsody ult in the background. Now PM getting locked down, and actually Magnus will fall in the background. Voodoo Papa goes there, and Kraken is going to die to the Whiplash auto attack, but BH and PM going at it. Now the rest of the PM's team is showing up, and Bloodhunter's feeling like that's a bad idea. He uses a token, he's going to come right back up. Looks like he's going to be able to get out of there thanks to Blood Sense activated from Puppet Master, and he's going Mock.
Parasite tried to block him into that tree with his creeps right there. While he was waiting for the resurrection, Parasite tried to line up his creeps and himself according to block him into that lone tree right in the middle right there. Didn't quite work out, but I appreciate the attempt. And Bloodhunter's gonna go for a
pretty
Mock.
sweet.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw the sort of the high, and I'm like, alright, that's...
I don't like it.
No, nor do I.
It's 33 minutes into the game. Like,
Yeah, I don't think damage output is this team's problem.
it's living, mostly, but yeah.
You could argue they only have one Shrunken on the Puppet, but even then, like, think about items like, you know, going the Dawnbringer or the Geometer's Bane or like a Wing Bow against Puppet to just be way better at this point.
Yeah.
I just want to watch the Mock kill the Puzzle Box Mauler because he can't control that damage and have
Right.
Bloodhunter take half of his health in true damage. Like, that's what's going to happen in one of these fights.
And I don't know if he's been eating the Puzzle Box minions with
I
his
don't think he
feast.
has.
And
I haven't noticed.
And he should be, because that's a lot of Parasite's damage.
Yeah. But, I mean, the timing on the Mock is bad, and against this team, it's not good. Like, they're not going to care about it for the most part. So, I really hate that. Like, why not finish your Dawnbringer? It would cost you...
Yeah, I think there's way better item choices he has here.
Mock is just one of those items that I don't think works very well on any hero apart from Wild Soul.
I think it makes sense on a fair number of heroes. It's all about the timing. Like Zephyr
Yeah,
does
it's
really well
35
with it.
minutes into the game. It's past its like
Right.
effectiveness, like super effectiveness, rather.
Yeah, I mean, you really see it picked up, but even then I still think it's overrated because you see these sand rays that get insane farm early game, and they go straight for a mock, and it's... what the
Yeah.
hell are they thinking? They have no tanky presence, they're going to die
Yeah, you
immediately.
can't fight as well with an early
Yeah.
mock either.
I don't think Sandwraith makes a lot of sense. I think Zephyr, it works really well. Parasite is really annoying with a muck.
Yeah,
kinda
in
funny
competitive
now.
play though, it's more of a troll build than anything.
I
My
think
friend
And
it's,
if you get a
understand.
Spell Sunder on top of the mock, the Spell Sunder
Yeah.
rocks, and it's really funny actually.
because like the problem with Parasite is nobody can catch him, and in those ballistas and stuff, you can't do any magic damage. So he basically just sits there, and you take constant damage, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I don't know. I like the mock build on Parasite. I just think it's aggravating.
My buddy
Actually,
Warby.
yeah. Here goes. Nice ultimate from Raph. Gonna save Swiftblade for the meantime, but eventually he walks out of it. That's gonna be a dash. They do down lockdown the Puppet Master in the background thanks to Kraken ultimate, so that's actually a pretty big kill. Now Bloodhunter's shrunken head up, and Swift Slash has come through thanks to the buyback from Swiftblade. The Hellborn side are definitely cleaning this fight up. Torture gonna fall thanks to the court in the middle of the lane. There's a distraction more than anything, but that was a really bad fight for the guys on the Legion side.
It looks like they used 2 buyouts,
Yeah.
one on Kraken and one on Swiftblade, but they held the Rex, so
And they managed to
Good.
kill the Puppet Master as well. And that's what they need to do, I
Yeah.
feel like. They just got to drop that ultimate on Puppet Master's head, kill him, and then the rest of the Legion side doesn't have that much damage.
both
Yeah.
teams did a fairly decent job of, focusing the right targets. It's just the Legion was pushing into Hellborn's base, and they had the base advantage for the fight. So
Right. And it looks like Hellborn trying to turn that into a tier 2 tower kill on bottom lane. Should be able to get it relatively easily. 100 putting the silence up on himself, obviously. Gives himself a ton of damage.
The
380.
Hellborn had destroyed a Legion tower.
And I don't know, perhaps Bloodhunter's open the mock, like with all these team fights. He's gonna get random creep kills and that'll heal him up or something. Like that's a nice effect.
possible.
It's just it doesn't seem like it's
It's more
worth.
RNG than
Gold.
anything.
Gold.
Parasite's minion,
Yeah, right. And that's the problem. Is then you're gonna kill Maritime's minion.
and it's all negated. Yeah, the chances of that happening are slim to none. But yeah, Swiftblade finally got a decent ulti off. I feel like if he can pick his fights effectively, he can put some serious damage into Puppet Master, Torture, and Madman. Parasite's pretty hard to kill with those Puppet Box minions, but if Swiftblade can get one of these heroes just out of position, he can easily take down either Puppet Master or Torture. Magnus being a hard target for that as well.
And I do want to go back to Chronix for a second because we're seeing more and more as this game goes on. This is basically a 4v5. Like,
Yeah. 0 and 8,
Yeah.
150 and level 14,
He's doing
37
nothing.
minutes into the game. Yeah.
And we can't really
Literally.
flame the player so much. It's just the pick.
yeah, it's a
just
bad
not good.
hero.
One of the weakest heroes in the game, no doubt about it.
I agree. Like, I don't feel like Majestics is playing this horribly. I'm not sure if he's doing all that well, but I
Right.
can't really say like, oh, look at all these mistakes he's been making, and he's been just throwing himself into the enemy team. He's been doing what he's supposed to do for the most part. He's trying to set up ganks. He's trying to be annoying in these team fights. It's just he doesn't actually do anything. So
In his defense, he does have the alt avatar. I'll give him that. But just terrible hero.
Didn't notice that yet.
Doesn't bring enough to the table in any regard. I mean, even when you see Grinix that are fairly farmed, mid Grinix. I've even seen carry Grinix before. Not effective in the least, but I would not recommend it to anybody. But even when they have items, it's hard for him to do anything.
yeah. And here it looks like he's gonna pick up a shrunken head. Not sure why, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure what that's going to do for him. Meanwhile, Grinix actually, speaking of him, he isn't yet jumped, gets killed right off the bat, and that's why I don't really think the Shrunken Head makes sense, but the release of Kraken gets dropped on the face of Puppet Master, so he's going to be pretty well locked down. So Slashes go out as well onto him, and a tug ultimate from Rapsy, but Puppet is going to fall, and it looks like Torture also going to die in the background. They do kill Nighty on that Bloodhunter.
Wow.
But it looks like the cleanup is there for the Hellborn side, as they lose 2 heroes, but take 3 Parasite trying to get away inside that puzzle box mauler. Madman also alive, but neither of them able to do too much, and a nice fight once again from Hellborn. It seems like if they lock down this Puppet Master, then they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I wish Bloodhunter would have survived that. I mean, he's now above Puppet Master's farm, so he's doing very well. One level above him, more farm, so definitely, I'm impressed with him, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But if he would have stayed alive, they could not push the base, but they could take some decent map control, get that middle tier 2 tower,
Possibly
make some
take
things
Kongor.
happen. Kongor, yeah,
An
he's back up.
An important thing to note would be that Madman has 4,000 gold, and they took a team fight without him spending that. That's like, remember back earlier I said that the Madman's gonna need to have items for them to,
Yep.
you know, be in this late game. Well, they also need to spend the money on him because
Yeah.
they're not gonna win team fights if he doesn't have more items.
He's saving for a mock. It has to be. 200 more
I hope
gold.
not.
Stock
I hope
around,
there's not
mocking
gonna be
your
another
enemies.
mock.
The mock stock.
Quincy Insight number 7. Gold doesn't do anything for you if you don't spend it.
What do you guys think he should go for with all that gold?
And speaking of Madman, actually,
I'm
he got
honestly
caught
not
out
sure.
here, but
Kodak.
he has the stock, and he looks like he might be okay. Yeah.
More burst damage?
Yeah, let me see.
I want the Shrunken, personally.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't.
I mean, I'm not too sure what else he could get. Like, it's kind of too late for a Nullstone, even though Nullstone's pretty good against Swiftblade and Bloodhunter. But I really don't know what else he could buy other than like a
He's gonna get
Shrunken.
caught once again. There goes the eye. They're trying to find him, but he actually took a pretty good route here. And
I'll be honest, I haven't played Madman in about a year, so I'm not very familiar with what I build on the hero, but maybe, I don't know, like a wing bow, would that be effective on that hero?
it's gonna be this Shrunken, but
It's fairly good. He can output a lot of damage with his passive, and he went for the Shrunken, like you said.
Gotcha.
I do feel like
Interesting
that's
pickup.
sort of just a okay. I
don't-
guess I'll get a Shrunken type thing though.
I
Not
don't
really.
agree with that. I mean, this Hellborn
Yeah,
team has
that's
so
the thing.
little magic damage.
Right.
It's not very
Whether
effective. It's
Swiftblade
just sort of
gets-
like, all right, whatever. I'll get a Shrunken. Speaking of which, team fight going down here, and Scorcher gets dropped really easy. Krakenhold also killing
Wow.
Magnus, and now Puppet Master having to run away. In the background, Madman is actually doing a good amount of damage with that Shrunken head up. Parasite also in a cannon. He perhaps shouldn't be in a cannon anymore. Madman gonna stalk away. He actually might be all right here if he can get the jukes out. Nope, Dust of Revelation goes down. They need to be able to stun him out of the TP, but they can't because they just don't have any CC tools. But once again, a Hellborn side taking a good fight there.
That was smart
Parasite
positioning on
didn't have his
Madman.
puzzle box up.
Yeah, but when Madman TP'd away, he went into a spot where Kraken couldn't charge something. I mean, Kraken was a little bit far, but if he would have been in a worse spot, Kraken could have charged him, thus canceling it.
Right.
But yeah, man, that Shrunken head did nothing for him that fight. I mean, he has 10 seconds of magic immunity, and it provided nothing for him that fight. So, not the best pickup, and I think he might be starting to realize that.
I'm actually on board with you. I think maybe the Wingbow would have been better.
Yeah.
Just-
I just... When you're versing a team with as little magic damage as this, what's the point? I mean, Kraken ulti...
Blade and Bloodhunter. Just, if they get their ults off, like, Shrunken Head doesn't do anything anyway.
Precisely. Same with Kraken ultimate. I mean, Gurnix is all physical, isn't he? Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, physical damage.
Yep.
No usefulness coming out from that, in my opinion. Sure, you get the Rhapsody stun dodge, but I doubt he's going to be using it on Madman in the first place.
Yeah. I think it's purely just because, oh, I'll get a Shrunken. Because Madman buys Shrunken, so I'll buy a Shrunken. And there's not really too much thought into it past that.
Yeah.
Which is a bit unfortunate, because I mean that's a pretty significant chunk of gold right there. 3,900 gold. That's more than halfway to a Wingbow, and at this point he would have it. So
Right.
hey, you could go Heart, do something, tank up, be in the middle of those team fights. They don't really have anybody who's super tanky right now, and Behemoth's Heart Madman can be extremely annoying.
It's all about that staff of the Master Madman.
Does it actually do anything on him?
It does.
Wow.
Keeps him alive after he dies. It's kind of funky how it works.
Meanwhile,
But you end up
Magnus
dying.
on here. Pretty easy kill. And Hellborn gonna look to turn this into more.
This Swiftblade is being a huge comeback. I mean, 400 GPM, that's not great on that hero, but judging from how his early game and mid game went, this is pretty surprising. I mean, he's 10-3 now. That's no joke. Same as Bloodhunter, same amount of assists. So Bloodhunter is ahead by 60 gold per minute, which is understandable since he was in the shore lane. But Swiftblade's becoming a dominant force in this late game. And Parasite's just failing to make the plays happen. Carrick really needs to, have a little bit more team fight presence, focus the right targets, because Last couple of fights, he hasn't been that effective.
They're killing Kongor quickly, but there's a ward right there, and they should have known that with the puzzle box minions up. Meanwhile, nice barrel actually, but then Rhapsody also coming in, gonna save a lot of damage, and she will finally fall. Torture's actually outputting a fair bit as well, and the Legion side are dying relatively quickly. Puppet Master's still alive though, and he's pounding in autos, and that's gonna be the difference here. Madman also alive, and they're gonna kill this Blood Hunter. They're also gonna kill the Grinix. Oh, Madman.
Wow.
You stole the annihilation.
Those savage procs were doing work. I was just watching plus 100, plus 100, plus 100. It was insane.
2 buybacks there as well from the Hellborn side in Blood Hunter.
2 bound eyes just hanging out.
Yep. But
now, the Rhapsody was great, but they were 2 groups. They ran to the river as a unit, like all 5 of them there, and Magnusoul caught 3 of them, Torture, Stun caught, I think it might have even been 4 of them. So they were shut down for a solid 4 seconds at the initiation of that fight.
yeah.
Not something you want to have when you're versing a Puppet Master. You can just pound in those auto attacks with that Savage Mace. And PM does have 4,000 gold saved up.
And he would have had an annihilation if Madman wasn't such a dick. I get the silver coins,
not
man.
doing too much there.
Oh man.
Yeah, and now
Did you guys
Swiftblade gonna
get
get caught.
ulti?
Yeah, and there goes Puppeteer's home, but they're actually gonna turn this on a Puppet Master. But that Whispering Helm is doing a lot of damage. Token Life gets used up by Blood Hunter, and Shrunken Head PM just gonna stand his ground. Not a great idea, as it turns out. Puppet Parasite also gonna be in some trouble. He infests a Mauler, but now he doesn't have that up, and Blood Hunter's just gonna chase him down and kill him. So that Frostburn there from BH. Oh, Madman kills the Bound Eye, so well done.
Now, as I was just complimenting Swiftblade on his presence in the late game, he Swift Slashes a Parasite creep, only for him to run uphill, and he gets 3 slashes off with that ultimate. 3 against a creep.
Yep.
Oh man, and that's 110
That's a
second
big
cooldown
spell to
too.
use like that.
Yeah, not a good idea at all, especially when someone's running uphill. Surely he should have known that that was a terrible choice. Swiftblade picking up an ultimate orb, Blood Hunter finishing his Dawnbringer, and Rhapsody finally getting that Astrolabe.
46-minute Astrolabe.
6-minute Astro, there we go.
It's a true support right
It's
there.
almost as good as the, what was it, the 21-minute PK on Mac?
And the 35-minute Mach.
Oh yeah, kicking with the block.
Almost better, I'd say.
So, the timing on some of these items, a little bit
Yeah, at least
off.
he has boots though. I've seen supports that haven't got boots until about 30 minutes in. So, well
That's
played.
what I know it's rough.
Yeah, well played, sir.
Mid tier 2 gonna fall here. Someone are pushing this in. They did lose the token in that fight. And Puppet Master's back up. Looks like Parasite will also be respawning in a few seconds, so they're gonna back off here, no surprise. And triple stacked Ancient's gonna be stolen, so Torture had just done that, and that's gonna be a pretty significant gold swing. Hellborn side gonna clean these up. And you
I'm
gotta be
surprised
careful
with how
about
well You Love to Party's doing this late into the game.
that. Yeah. I mean, this goes back to what we were talking about before. It's kind of hard to determine who exactly has the late game here. Like, Blood Hunter is a good late game hero. He's not the greatest, but he's good. And they've got Swiftblade and Kraken. Legion side has Puppet Master as their main, but if Madman was a little bit more impactful in these fights, and this goes back to what you got was what you got was saying earlier, is he's got 330 gold per minute, and he's a hard carry. Like, he can do that, but he just doesn't have the damage output right now. So
yeah, when you had asked me about who has the better late game, I pretty much made my decision solely on how well Madman was doing, just because I knew he would need to help Puppet Master at this part of the game.
And he's not doing that so much. And I think the Shrunken Head also doesn't help him very much either. Like, that's
The Energizer and then the Shrunken, I didn't like either pickup that he had made.
So not only is he not farming all that well, but the farm he does have isn't being used very effectively. And it's pretty difficult to win games if you're going to do that.
Agreed. He does have 4k gold set up though, so I'm curious to see what he gets next. Hopefully an item that provides lots of damage output, because he needs that right now.
I really want him to just spend it. Like, spend something. You don't need that much money for a buyback. You can spend half of it and you'll be fine. Like, I don't understand the idea of pooling 6k gold. Like, that's just stupid. Even if you have 2 buybacks.
Yeah, saving...
I think he's been indecisive, honestly, because when he bought the Shrunken, he had like, it was like past 4,000 gold, so I don't know.
It's important for high-level teams to look at how much gold they're going to lose in the next death and how much it's going to cost them to buy back. You need to
Right.
know how much you need for buyback and definitely save that much gold. But when you have, 4K, 5K, even more than that, you can spend some money and get at least parts of the item that you're building for.
Right.
Looks like Parasite's going for, I would say, a sheep, or
Yeah,
it could be a
definitely.
frostblade. Probably the sheep.
No, he
though.
has the staff and the ultimate orb picked up. He got the ultimate orb.
Oh,
just a
okay.
minute.
So,
So that's going to be a solid pickup. No doubt about it.
anything that they can do to lock down this Blood Hunter a little bit, obviously very, very critical.
Yeah, at this point, both teams need to be very careful. I mean, there are no outer towers left. One of the base towers on YLTP's team is down, so this next team fight is going to be a huge determinant of who wins this game.
And Congar should be back up relatively soon as well. Sheepstick is finished on Parasite, so the big question for me with Parasite is basically, is he going to be able to get into these fights and use that Sheepstick before the Shrunken Heads come up? Because,
Right.
if he can't,
He's in a
then,
Wild Hunter, he can hopefully get the jump. And I think he was just in one.
well, they
Possibly
have an
one.
eye on Grinix, so they should be able to see him coming.
No Wild Hunters on the map right now, unfortunately. This new creep spawn.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
in
it
a
would be
Vulture
good
right
if
now.
going. Vulture, the best of creeps. Looks like Legion might be grouping for a push middle. Yep.
If I was Legion, I would focus the Swiftblade before the Blood Hunter. They should know that he has no buyouts.
Yeah.
And same with Kraken. They should just remember. So those are two key targets you want to focus.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kraken doesn't have his demonic yet, or at least another item apart from Soul's Bulwark and Shrunken Head. Blood Hunter picking up Rift Shards, and he is out of gold now. So Blood Hunter's gonna go
The
YOLO
Legion
and
have
just
destroyed
opt
a
for that heavy
Hellborn
damage on him before his
tower.
next team fight, before saving for buyback.
Swiftblade, gonna be okay. And there's the initiation
Using
now
his
as the
spin.
spin is down. So he's actually going to die. In the background, no, Rhapsody ultimately going to save him. Bloodhunter in the middle of the fight looking for something, and there goes the kill on Ignite though, and he's got no buyback because of the death. So Kraken ultimate going to lock down Puppet Master here, and he actually can take it at no. Eruption coming in from Magnus, doing a ton of damage. And we'll see if Grinix can do too much here. Nope, Shrunken Head was up, but Parasite can be able to infest right on out of it. Ends up being a nice lava surge there for Magnus, and they're going to count this on the Rhapsody as well, so 2 for 2 at this point. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the end of the fight. Torrent goes down onto Parasite, but he's pretty damn tanky. And they're actually going to put the face hug. That was still up somehow, and this Sheepstick as well. So, did he not use those, or just...
Yeah, he
that's
did.
how
They have
long
short
the-
cooldowns.
Yeah, that's how long the fight was.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that ended up being in Legion's favor. But the initial kill on the Blood Hunter, and then he didn't have enough money for a buyback. That was kind of surprising that they didn't take it. But
Yeah, it looks like he bought out of Rift Shards, and then, his,
Died.
the Kraken and the Swiftblade didn't have buyouts. It's pretty risky of him to spend his
Hellborn
money like
barracks
that.
has been destroyed.
that's going to be mid-racks and bot-racks, it looks like.
A Hellborn barracks has
I
been
really wish they would have had a
destroyed.
smarter pick than this Grinix. I mean, even if it was just like a rally, even a scout. I hate the hero scout, but even if it was him, that silence would be providing so much more. And that last skirmish where it was Kraken, Rhapsody, Grinix versus Magnus and Parasite would have gone much better with either of those two heroes.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, your next pick not doing too much in this game, unfortunately.
Sorry, I'm looking
So they
at
have
some-
one Rax left, choosing to play it out, which is fine.
Understandable.
Yeah, this is game 1 of the round of 16, of course. They're probably quite fresh and not super concerned about fatigue at this point. And I mean, they do have the potential to take these team fights and counter some of these racks. The issue is always, of course, with 2 racks down, it's so hard to counter push.
53-minute basher on Grinix. huge.
Somebody's got to bash the puppet.
Yeah.
Switchblade's been having trouble. Every time I look, it just seems like Switchblade doesn't get a bash on him. I don't know.
Switchblade's just been out of position these last 2 team fights. He spins in onto the creeps, the enemy team initiates, and he just falls very quickly.
Yep.
Onward going to be the focus, it looks like, for the Hellborn side. And Catman must have bought something. Like, he had 4K before, and he did buy back.
Yeah, he used to buy up.
But there's no way that 5 minutes ago he had 4K gold, now he's got 3K, and the only thing that's changed is the buyback. Actually, that initiation. Renex is going to die here. Sheepstick goes on to him, might have been a waste there. As in the background, Puppet Master taking a lot of the Swift Slash's damage. The Rhapsody will fall. They do kill the Puppet Master. The issue is, can they do anything? Nice rupture from Magnus coming in. Will do a whole bunch of damage. They're trying to kill Swiftblade. It's not working very well because of that Abyssal Skull. Finally, they drop him. It ends up being a 4-man right to the Legion side, and it looks like Kraken's going to be able to get away, but there's a CC vote. And yeah, they're going to call the GGs here.
Defeat.
So,
Wow.
Game 1.
Wins.
Kind of a surprising end there. Figured they'd hang out and make sure they were going to take the top racks, but yeah, the buyback, I guess, on Puppet Master meant that that was game. So, Game 1. Relatively even match until the end there, as the Legion side just win a team fight and take the victory. So, final thoughts on that game? What you got?
Just a lot of back and forth.
The Legion had
A
destroyed
lot of
the
interesting
HoN
item
Tour.
pickups that we all talked about. We didn't agree and whatnot. Yeah, it was well played by
Hellborn
Legion though.
Barracks has been destroyed.
No doubt. And Buzz, what do you have?
Yeah, I'm surprised that Catman Champion did so well. I mean, they must be a pretty new team. They have definitely a sub in, that being Carrick's. And Laser Killing was looking for a team just a couple weeks ago, so he must be a new addition to this team as well. Maybe he's just a sub as well. But solid draft on their team, no doubt about it. And they played it much better in the end than You Live to Party did. So well played on the Legion's behalf.
No doubt. And that will finish off Game 1 for us, and we'll be moving into Game